Hey everybody, welcome to a first ever live edition of the No Easy Way Out podcast. We are coming to you today from the building that was the brainchild of our distinguished guest today, Jeff Deason. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it. I must correct you, not the brainchild, but a worker to make it happen, I would say.
Yeah, well, we know that you had a lot to do with it, and we know that you were one of the first people to present it to us as a community. And so we've been here since the beginning. We're excited about that. And I was going to ask you about the Moses beard today, but it looks like you already trimmed it down a little bit. So tell us why you decided to do that.
Well, when we all had to go home, it was kind of a marker in time for me. So
Time capsule.
Time capsule, yeah. As I stopped shaving and let it go, and it was getting a little bit unruly. I thought I should look a little cleaner cut for you today, so I
well, we liked it. We saw you were channeling your inner Charlton Heston.
Right.
So we appreciated it. Now, Jeff, you were one of the first guests I ever had on my podcast. I think you were guest episode number 4. We met down in the big boardroom down there, and we talked about it starts with a vision. And we talked a little bit about this building and kind of what kind of went into making it happen. But then I don't know if you remember this, but you were also one of the very first people I spoke to when I thought about starting AZ Business Solutions back, man, it's probably been 7 or 8 years ago. I think you had just started doing the Chamber of Commerce, so I don't know the exact date, but I was working at the Comstock downtown, and I was considering starting a new business, and I said I need to think who to talk to, so I thought to talk to you, someone I had met through the Convention and Visitors Bureau, someone I admired, and you gave me a lot of good advice. You gave me some honest truths that I didn't want to hear. But you also gave me some things that I needed to hear. And so even if you don't remember it, I do, and I appreciate it. And now my business is almost 6 years old. We're having a great deal of success here in our community. And I certainly would attribute some of that to the advice you gave me. So I appreciate that. Thank
you. I appreciate you saying that. And that's really, in my job, that is the biggest compliment that somebody can give me, is that, a conversation that we might have had some time ago led to something positive in both their business career, but also their personal career as well. It's nice, and it's nice to hear something like that.
Yeah, we really, really appreciate it. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Armory itself. So, again, you were kind of the first person that I heard talking about this building that sat behind the tiny little building that was in front of here, where the Chamber of Commerce used to be housed. And this building had sat vacant for a while. And I remember at a meeting you were talking about this grand vision you had for it, where it would house businesses that could get a good start and it would grow. And of course, I know there were a lot of people involved, but I know it was a tremendous amount of work to make it happen. And we talked about that in the podcast. I think Tasha's going to put the link to that in the description if anyone wants to go watch it. But I got to ask you, now that you've seen it in action for 3.5 years, or almost 3 years, you've seen it in action, you've seen businesses in here, you've seen businesses grow, you've seen people experience. What has that felt like? Describe what it's been like to watch that thing go from an idea to maybe becoming a reality to actually seeing it come to fruition and seeing businesses in here. What does that feel like?
Well, it's a tremendous feeling to see businesses come in and grow, and it's really because of the hard work that you have put in as a business owner to come here and do that. I mean, we've had you. We've had other businesses who came in and took a cubicle space in here, and then you put in the work. Mm-hmm. You are the one who grew your business, but what we tried to do is give you a platform where when you needed more space, we gave you more space. When you needed rooms to do your podcast or do the things that helped your business grow, if we could accommodate that, then that's our responsibility of this place. I feel like that's the community responsibility to help you grow as much as we can.
Well, and it certainly has. And it gave us the clout that we were missing. We were in a little, basically a glorified closet in our last space. It was a little 8x10 office, and we had a couple people.
I remember I was there with you.
Yeah, upstairs on the 3rd floor of the Exchange. And it helped get us started, but nobody really knew who we were. And coming to this building gave us a lot of local clout that we really needed, and it started to get people to understand what we were, who we were. It gave them a little more trust that this is a legitimate business that we're going to be working with. And certainly the things that you just mentioned, as we've grown, when we came here, we had 2 employees. Now we have 7. And the business has really, really taken off. And we owe a lot of that to this place. Plus, we can tell people We work at the Armory downtown. Everybody knows what that is. And I think the biggest benefit is my daughter, who is all about princesses, thinks that her daddy works on a castle. So that's a huge bonus for us.
Yeah. And
So-
I've seen you take clients through here and
Yeah.
tour them through the building.
Yeah.
And I think it does lend a certain amount of credibility to any business that's here.
No question about it.
So,
No question about it. It always gives the wow factor to our clients. They know what they're getting. They know they're getting a team. And so it certainly helped us grow. And we look forward to seeing what's going to happen in the future. So I want to go back a little bit, back to the very beginning. I can't remember when it exactly was when you presented it, but I remember it. And when that all happened, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced in kind of trying to move the chamber from a small building to a big building, but also use this like incubator space to attract people to come here? And what were some of the biggest challenges you faced in that time?
I think the biggest challenge that any of us face in our lives is time management and how to structure what you can do in the given amount of time that you have. I mean, this place was challenging from the beginning just to get it financed, to get folks on board with the vision and say, okay, we're going to put forth these tax credit dollars, and then we had to get them to say yes before we could get the state of Michigan to say yes with the incentives, because there's just no way that you could redevelop a building like this alone. It's just, it would be so cost prohibitive that you couldn't, we would not have been able to take this on.
For sure.
So it was really getting people to slowly say yes and realize the scope and the amount of time that it was going to take.
Right.
Everybody wanted it to be done in a year,
Right.
but it wasn't the type of project that could be done in a year.
Yeah.
So you had to wait for certain things to fall in place.
Yeah. Well, it certainly has fallen into place. Again, I think it's a beautiful building. If you haven't been inside this building, you need to come. You can contact us. I love giving tours. It's free. I usually charge a nickel, but most people don't pay. But it's a great place to see. It's really amazing what's been done, especially if you had seen it before. But I wanted to ask you, so Jeff, how long have you been with the chamber in the role that you're in?
I started January of 2013.
2013, so about just over 7 years.
Yeah.
And what has been your greatest, I know there's probably a lot, but what is some of the, or one of the greatest memories that you've had in this role in your time being here?
Well, I think the greatest memories are really based around people and based around, the staff working together and the things that we envisioned and then were able to put forth to help the business community. Those will be the fondest memories I have.
Yeah.
And frankly, things like you just said to me before, where someone has come up to me and said, hey, something you said or did helped me at some point down the line. Those are the things that you remember.
Yeah.
Certainly the day this building opened and we had a huge party here will always be a big memory for me.
I remember that.
It's just, there's so many.
Yeah. Those touch points, those relationships you build, those things of having an idea and seeing it come to fruition and seeing people succeed, that's an amazing thing to experience. And I think a lot of people watching right now would attest that you and the chamber have attributed to a lot of that in a lot of different people's lives. And so, you will be greatly missed on that note. So you take on this new role, you have this kind of grand vision, you recruit people, other people are helped and involved. It comes to fruition, and the building's going well, the economy's doing well, businesses are coming in. At one point, I believe the Armory was almost completely filled, right? Almost all the spots were filled, and things were going really well. And then 2020 hit.
Right.
2020 hit, like the worst movie no one ever wanted to see.
Right.
And boy, a lot of us, and still even today, aren't 100% sure what 2020 has done, what it's going to do. But when that first happened, when you kind of realized that you were going to have to lock a building that were housing businesses that were experiencing growth, and you knew that you had to kind of make that tough decision, what was going through your mind during that time, and how did you find the way to be able to deal with all that?
Quite honestly, it is still a very confusing time right now that we live in.
No question about it.
And so it makes the decision-making process really difficult, And we talked as a staff when this whole thing kind of started. I remember a conversation where Tasha asked me, what do I think is going to happen with this thing? And I said, I think it's going to be, really bad, and it's going to be a real game changer. And I was hoping that wouldn't be the case, but here we are.
You're hoping to be wrong.
I was really hoping to be wrong,
Yeah.
but here we are. And we had a newspaper here in the office from the day of the shutdown, when we all had to leave and work remotely. And it was like a placeholder in history. It's like you come back, you see the abandoned buildings where everybody just left.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like that
eerie.
when I first came back in the office to see that newspaper from that date where the governor shut us down.
Yeah.
It was, sobering.
Yeah.
I would say.
Well, and today we're starting to see things little by little opening up. We're starting to see more positive reports as far as the pandemic is concerned, and but certainly during that time, and even now, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to see what's going on. But I remember thinking that when I was thinking about what I was going to do for my business, we actually went and worked from home for a couple of weeks as well. And I just remember thinking that has to be a tough decision to have to decide that for not just you, but for all the businesses that are housed here. And of course, a lot of it was out of your hands, but ultimately it had to come down to what you had to do. So, well, now we come to today.
Right.
And Jeff is moving to Hawaii.
I am.
In case you hadn't heard.
Moving to Hawaii.
Yes.
So very excited about it.
Well, we're all happy for you. We're going to miss you, but really it's mostly just jealousy. We're all very jealous that you're going to move to a tropical island. But talk to us a little bit about what led to that decision to move to Hawaii.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of serendipity involved, and things that just fell into place that I didn't know would happen. But, we have some friends that we've known for a long time who put us in contact with other friends who had this place in Hawaii that they were unable to it's a whole host of reasons, but they had to move back to the mainland and can't move back into this house for 7 years.
Wow.
And until they retire. And the house is sitting vacant, and it's in a beautiful part of Hawaii. And
that's everywhere in Hawaii.
Yes, but this one, it is particularly beautiful.
Yeah.
And so we were able to talk to them and come to an arrangement where we're going to caretake this place and take it over. And I happen to have family in Hawaii. My dad lives there.
Really?
My brother and sister live there. So he'll be about 7 miles away from where we live. So we kind of have a ready-made family and contact system there. And
that helps a lot.
Sunday dinners, which I think is going to be great to have with my family again. So it was one of those things where we said, we're healthy. We're at a point in our life and career where let's jump off. Let's do this and take a chance. So there's a lot of faith involved in this.
So you're going to be happy. That's the most important thing. I always talk to people. One of the things that to me is most important is that people truly consider in their life what's going to make me happy.
Right.
And there's a lot of things that can surround the ability to get there, but all we want for the people that are close to us is to see them happy. And we are very happy for you. Of course, as I said, we're going to miss you. But when do you guys head out? When's the day of departure?
We're going to head out the third week of September, and then what we're going to do is we have a little small camper. We're going to camp our way across the country and see family along the way, and then we put our vehicle on the ship in Long Beach, which is where
Mini Cooper.
We're taking both vehicles. Yeah,
They're going to make it to the island. That's good.
Yeah, actually, vehicles. They're so expensive on the island that it was worth it for us to ship our vehicles there rather than
to buy
vehicles there.
Yeah.
So we're taking them with us and put them on the ship in Long Beach and then head out. So we're due in Hawaii October 30th.
Very cool. Well, that's exciting. You have a little road trip adventure on the way there, so it sounds like fun. Will you come visit? Are you going to come see us?
Absolutely. My family, I still have family here. My son is working on buying my house, so he'll be living there. So we'll be coming back to visit them.
Make sure he's taking good care of it.
Yes, make sure he's mowing the lawn and that kind of thing. And then, we probably won't be back between November and March, but we'll come back in the
I
summertime.
can imagine you wouldn't want to come back during those times. Well, make sure when you come back in, you let us know, make a grand entrance into town so that we can all get a chance to see you. And we wish you the best of luck. We really are excited for you.
Thank
I
you.
do have some questions here from some members of your staff,
Okay.
as well as from some of our chamber members. So we're going to go through these. So first question is, what aspect of 2020 has surprised you the most, and how has it changed your perspective?
I think what surprised me the most, and I guess I'm not totally surprised by it, but what really gets me is the grit of our business owners and their ability to grind through this. I mean, we're known as a grind area
Blue
anyway.
collar, yeah.
Blue collar, grind. Things have not been easy for Flint or Owasso or these areas. So maybe we're more used to grinding.
Sure.
But I've seen so many business owners who have just worked so hard to get through this, restaurant owners and service providers. And those folks have not had an easy time. And like our school superintendents who have had to make, 3, 4, 5 different plans of what they have to do and how to do it. There's just been so much tremendous work
Tenacity,
involved by everybody. Yeah. And Tasha came up with the Brilliant and Resilient campaign, which I know you helped us on. And there are so many stories of business owners who have really stepped up and so many people who have wanted to help them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can attest to that. I mean, we work with dozens of businesses in Shiawassee County as clients, and it's been an inspiration to us to see people not just be determined that we're going to make it through this, but get creative. And some of the ideas that people have come up with to find an alternative source of revenue or a new way to offer their product to people. And it's been hard to watch people have to go through it, but it's also been inspiring in a way to see people pivot and be creative and just determine we're going to get through this together.
Right.
And our community really has linked arms. I think we've tried to support each other. I've seen a lot of the small businesses getting support from the community, and that's extremely important. And I want to encourage you, if you're watching, to continue to support small businesses in your community.
Yes.
We're not out of the woods yet.
No.
I mean, there's
and
still
we need
a lot.
to be hyper local in our thought process right now.
Absolutely.
We need to take care of the folks in our region.
Yeah, Walmart and Amazon are not hurting right now. They're seeing record sales, but our small businesses really need you to just support them and think before you go anywhere. Think if you can get it local, and if you can, try to do that. We've always preached that, but now even more than ever, those small businesses really need your support.
And those restaurants and businesses that you can buy a gift certificate from are so thankful.
Absolutely.
For that happening, and it's really helped them to be able to survive through this.
Yeah, none of us want to see our local restaurants or businesses close, and so the best way we can ensure that doesn't happen is by supporting them and doing our part.
Yeah.
So this is a fun question. If the organization was given $1 million tomorrow and you were implored that you had to use it before you move on, how would you utilize it?
$1 million
Before you move.
before I move next week.
Yeah.
Well, I think what I would try and do, like, you always want to leverage your funds, right?
Right.
So I would see if I could find a matching grant, first of all.
There you go.
And then I think what I would really like to see is for this place to be some sort of training facility or a place that could be alive with folks getting the new skill sets needed to do the jobs of the future. And if I had $2 million, I would pay this building off and give it back to the community, and it would be, a gem for the community.
For sure. And it already is, but that's a great plan. You did a good job on that one. I was wondering how you'd answer that, so you did better than I would have. Mine had visions of Las Vegas and
double down.
Put it all on red, right? Here's another question. So what are some of the best strategies that you employ for continued learning and growth?
I've always been a big fan of continuously learning or, taking classes my whole life. I just went back a couple years ago to get my master's degree. I just feel like so I'm not the young guy in the block anymore, right? So in order to try and stay sharp and focused and with what's going on and the current trends, you have to continually learn.
Yeah.
So I encourage that in my staff. I encourage it in myself. I know you're always interested in learning new things.
For sure.
You've learned to podcast.
Yeah.
So
we had no clue.
right.
2 years ago, we had no clue. So,
right.
Yeah.
So I just can't stress enough that, like, if you don't learn, you're left behind.
You're going to get stagnant.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so this is a very important question. Will you continue to be a Michigan Wolverine fan?
No.
That's a trick question. We know
Yeah.
you're a Sparty, but we just wanted to know maybe the nice air and the beautiful weather would help you convert to a good winning team.
I said go blue this week because the Cook Family Foundation put out a wonderful video about the Shiawassee Scholars Program, and they've sent so many kids through U of M through that program, and that's been a great asset. So in that sense, I will say go blue, but
we appreciate it. That's all. We're going to end the podcast right now.
Green.
No. I have one more question, and then we're going to do a little segment that we always do on the show called Say It in 60. But this question is, let me try to read that again. What retrospective advice do you have for our business owners, leaders, and entrepreneurs, especially living in a COVID world? What kind of forethought can you offer?
I think the most important thing to think about is that because of this COVID situation, we have all tended to internalize our processes, shrink our spheres to include only those people who are in our little groups, because we can't socialize the way we do.
Right.
And I think the piece of advice I would give is that we have to do everything we can not to go into silos at this time.
Stay connected. And
not just stay connected, but realize that, 90% of the things that we have to work on together are not the 10% of the things that we're divisive about.
Right.
And we've gotten into such a huge divide in our country,
for sure,
and our world of what you believe one way or another, that we've forgotten the hard work that we have to do as a community together to make it happen. And quite frankly, I don't care what your position is on whether or not you believe in wearing a mask, but I care about your position in how we can move forward with our community to get things back to some sort of normal state. How do we do that?
Yeah.
And, so we're focusing on the periphery and not on the important things that are in the middle that we can agree on.
Yeah.
And so
that is excellent advice, extremely important. And I think the challenge right now is we are basing a lot of what we feel about each other based on what we heard from somebody else or what we saw on social media or what we assumed because of an association. And I think it's so important that we stay in tune with each other. And like you said, there may be a few things that we disagree on, but I think most of the people that we know, once you have a conversation with people, you realize you agree on a whole lot more than you disagree on. And the things that are really key and really important to a community and to those relationships are typically things that we all are on the same page on. And so in a time where we don't get to see each other as much, I think it's important that we do stay connected. Agree, don't go into a silo and have those conversations with people, because when you do have that face-to-face conversation or that FaceTime conversation or that Zoom call, you realize this is a person that I love. And we might disagree on a few things, but it's not that big a deal.
And all of a sudden you're laughing together and you're working towards a common goal.
Right.
And really that's where the fulfillment is. Because all the anxiety and anger and angst that we feel based on these fringe issues one way or another, not that they're not important issues, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But all of that angst, it's so much easier to focus on the positive energy of moving forward than that negativity, because it just brings you down.
Right.
You know, it really does.
It does.
It drains you.
Yeah, and why would you want to be more down already? Like right now, positivity is what we need.
We have to.
Yeah,
absolutely. We just have to.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that answered your question.
That was a very good answer. That was an excellent answer, and I know everybody listening, I'm sure they appreciated that. It's something that not is just good advice, but it's timely advice. It's something that people need to hear right now. So we're going to end the episode. We're going to give the audience a chance to ask Jeff some questions. So be thinking of some things you want to ask him. But first, we're going to do a little segment that we always do on our show called Say It in 60. So I have 10 rapid-fire questions for you. You have 60 seconds to answer them. Zach's got a spinning wheel. So
10.
you can win a prize. So Zach's going to give you the thing. You're going to push that. You're going to show what prize you're going to win.
Okay.
Just push the middle button and it'll show you what your prize will be.
A free trip to Hawaii.
Well, Karen's paying for it, but yes, it's a free trip. If you get these right, you get a trip to Hawaii paid for by Karen.
All right, good.
She agreed that she would take you with her.
All right,
but you have to get these 10 questions. So there's a lot riding on this, Jeff.
Oh,
all right.
man.
So Zach's going to put 60 seconds on the clock. And are you ready?
I guess so. Let's do it.
Okay. Let me know when we're ready, Zach.
I'm not known for my quick thinking.
We just need quick answers.
Instinctual.
Time starts now. What is a must-read book?
The Power of Now.
What is a daily habit that everyone should do?
Take the time to meditate.
What is your favorite podcast?
There's no easy way out.
Good
Tony
answer.
Nash.
What is a must-watch movie?
A must-watch movie. Man, okay, I'm failing on this one. I'm not a big movie guy. Must-watch.
Must-watch.
Move on. I'll come back to that.
What's your why?
What's my why?
Yeah.
People.
What's your best piece of advice?
My best piece of advice is to take the time to be creative in some manner.
What is a favorite quote?
A favorite quote. 15 seconds. A favorite quote is,
That's a tough
yeah,
one. Pat,
I'm
who do you
blanking.
look up to?
I look up to so many people. I mean, I'm not going to Hawaii.
Sorry, guys.
I'm
Just
failing.
staying. All right, staying.
All right. I crack under that kind of pressure.
That's all right. Hey, most people do. It's okay.
I
That's a good one.
cracked.
But no, we're going to let you go still. Karen said even if you lost, you could still come to Hawaii with her. So, Jeff, we appreciate you being on the show today. It was an honor. Thank you for thinking of us to do this interview. We were excited about it the moment you guys mentioned it. And truly, we are excited for you. Truly, we are going to miss you. You have had such an impact on our community and on so many people individually. And those memories that you carry are memories that we will carry with us as well. And we look forward to seeing you again in the future. And it'll be like you never left. And that we wish you all the best. Now, we are going to give the studio audience, right? The Zoom callers. What questions do you have for Mr. Deason?
So it looks like Dave Hood is asking if I'm taking the dogs. Yes, we are. And that is the most complicated piece of the whole move. There's all kinds of regulations and bureaucracy that you have to go through to take them. And it is a giant hassle. But yes, we are taking them.
So what do you have to do? I mean, how long is that process going to take?
Well, Karen's got a binder about that thick of the different regulations that you have to follow, and you have to do a special test that has to be administered 30 days before you go that only Kansas State University can administer. And then you have to get all of the rabies and the documentation and all of that stuff has to be in place. Then there's only one flight that you can fly them out of the U.S. into Hawaii on. You can't fly November 1st, which we were going to, so we had to move it to October 31st because they're not flying pets from November 1st on. You have to get them tested within a week of your departure, so we'll have to get them tested in California before we go. And so it's just all these things that have to line up to make it happen. It's a project.
Good question. Anybody else got a question for Jeff?
So I'm sitting here in the chamber office. I think you guys can hear me. I'm behind the scenes. Tasha here. And my question for Jeff is, you mentioned in your 60 seconds that, always do something creative, and just knowing you from working with you for this past year, I know that you do a lot of different creative things, pottery and all kinds of music. Are there any new hobbies that you're looking forward to when you move?
I mean, I'm really looking forward to some of the outdoor sports opportunities that I've had. I've never lived near the ocean like that before, and being able to maybe try and learn how to surf or something like that. I've never done that before, so I think that would be really exciting. From a creative standpoint, I'm working on the ukulele a little bit, so that's kind of fun, and I'll probably end up in some sort of music group out there, I would think. So
The Dirt Surfers take Hawaii.
yeah, exactly.
I got a question for Jeff. In December, January, for old time's sakes, will you ever go out and scrape your car?
I will do it. I will take my scraper and do that on video and send it to you in January.
That's a great idea.
I'm going to put that in my calendar right now. As a reminder.
Jeff, is it too late to take Mark with you?
It was too late to take Mark with me a long time ago.
There's too much testing that needs to happen to make that approved.
Too many tests. Yeah.
How near are you to the nearest volcano? Do you know?
Yeah, we are. We're very close to the volcano. So in 2018, the eruption that happened, the lava flow was about 3 miles from our place. So we are well within volcano range.
If everyone's not paying attention to the chat, Sue Cadlick said Mark will be voted off the island.
He won't make it to the merge.
If I could say just one thing to everybody on the call, I mean, I know all of you, and I have really appreciated the time and the energy that you've poured into this community and the chamber, and whether or not it's me in the seat, this is still a very, very important organization to keep moving forward. Chamber's been here 118 years, and the reason for the longevity has a lot to do with programs and services we offer, but it also has to do with the relationship value of having an organization that works on the behalf of business owners. Whether or not it's you needing those services that we provide or not at that time, you want to know that when you do need it, you can call us and we'll be there. And then we also need your support so we can offer those services to other people. I mean, it's important. We are in a community that's trying to thrive and grow, and there are other communities out there who are trying to do the same thing. And if you think it's not competitive, I'm here to tell you it is. It's very competitive. And to have an organization like the Chamber that can connect you with the Economic Development Partnership if we need to, or the Small Business Development Center if we need to, and bring all that together is super important. So thank you for being staunch supporters of the organization and supporters of me over the years and what we've tried to do. And I hope that we made you proud, because I'm really confident that in the future you will continue to be proud of this organization.
Very good. You don't have to give a name, but is there somebody that's already put in their hat for a replacement, or is that something that will be a process?
Actually, it'll be a process moving forward. Sue, Dave Hood, are you throwing your hat in the ring?
I don't have one on, so
So it must be already in the ring.
So Sue Cadlick, who has been here, worked at the Chamber for 20 years and knows everything. She's going to be the interim CEO while the committee does a search. And I think they're trying to have somebody in place by the first of the year. But it's a process that they're going to go through.
For sure.
So, but Sue is extremely capable. So she will do a great job.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching our show today. As my mother always said, you can't and never could until you tried. So go out there and try something great, my friends, and don't take the easy way out. We'll see you next time.